Could you tell us about your calling? You know, some missionaries have kind of an aha moment where the couple, like behind the scenes, both feels a calling to the mission field, and it's like, aha, and they communicate, and they're like, I was feeling that, I was thinking that as well. So, or some missionary wives I've talked to say it's more, my husband felt called, and I know I'm called to love and support my husband. So can you tell us about your calling and your relationship on the mission field?
I knew my husband's heart was so burdened for missions. And I remember that one time I was on a girls' trip with my mom, and my husband called me and he said, I need to tell you something. And I sat down on the bed in the motel, and I thought, we're going to the mission field. And so I remember that because of my husband's heart. So when the Lord began to stir in his heart, I think before that, the Lord was preparing me that there was going to be a change, and that possibly it would be towards missions. But I didn't feel like I was the one to be called. The Lord was calling my husband. When he told me what the Lord was doing, I already felt like I had known the Lord was stirring in his heart. I told him I just wanted to know that he had a verse, that God was going to use this, and it wasn't just a burden, that he was called to the mission field, because not if, but when things got difficult, and in this spiritual warfare, I wanted to know in those times that this is God's calling on his life, and that whatever it was, it would be okay, because this was God's calling for his life. And so he assured me of that, and I was fine.
Yeah. Amen. Can you share that verse? Do you remember which verse it was?
Yeah, I was preaching through the book of Acts,
Yeah.
and I think that sermon series is what God used to soften in my heart, prepare me for what he was going to do. But I was in Acts chapter 20, verse 22, where Paul is talking to the Ephesian elders, and he's going back to Jerusalem, but he's meeting with them one last time, and they didn't want him to go back to Jerusalem. Even the next chapter of Acts, chapter 21, the four daughters of Philip told him not to go back. Agabus the prophesied, you shouldn't go back. But Paul said, I go bound in the Spirit. This is where God is leading me, and I'm going. And then he said, none of these things move me. I'm not concerned about my life. I'm concerned about following God's will. And I was preparing the sermon to preach from that text, and it was like a lightning bolt.
Wow.
You know,
Amen.
you're going.
Yeah.
You may not want to go, but you're going.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. So,
if you just benefited from that content, I'd like you to do two things. Our church media team regularly publishes additional Christ-centered content. So the first thing I'd like you to do is subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss a single video. And the second thing I'd like you to do is share this video with others so that they also can benefit from Christ-centered content. All right? So these two things, subscribe and share. And thank you.